All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for our small group gathered here. Thanks and hello to those who are watching online. Just in case I forget, Mazel Tov to the Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that was in there. That was great.
And for those who might not have looked this up, the two Hebrew tattoos, one of them is simply Curry. All right, it's Kuf Reshut. It just says his name.
The two what?
Tattoos that Steph Curry has. He has two Hebrew tattoos.
Okay.
One is just Curry. I thought, is it Curry? Is it called by God? Is it? It's just Curry. The other one has the word Ahava on it. I forget the entire import, but it's the Hebrew translation of an English phrase in the New Testament about love and faith.
From Corinthians.
Yeah, from Corinthians. So
love is forever. Yeah.
So
why in Hebrew?
He likes the Hebrew roots of Christianity.
Okay, that's cool.
Is really the main reason why.
Yeah, but the phrase is very weirdly put.
It is because wasn't written. The phrase wasn't written in Hebrew.
Right.
It was written in Greek, translated to English, back to Hebrew. So yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
And then those are Hebrew tattoos, and just of course you have Jewish owners of the Warriors, and you have Draymond Green, who is a big Israel lover. Just happens to be. He's been there a couple times. He loves visiting there.
You know why? He's not Jewish, obviously.
He's not. I forget who took him. Somebody in Michigan, who he's friends with, and so yeah. There you go. So just interesting little tidbits. And of course, the Warriors were. I think they were. When they were in Philadelphia, they were like the Jewish team. They had a lot of Jewish players initially, and anyway, that's the story. And what Jewish player we had Omri Caspi, but only for 1 year. All right.
Israeli, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to start on page 1 because we need an additional soul for Minyan, but now we don't. But still, we're going to start with page 1 anyway. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Mishon Abdecha. El Retzonecha. Mishon Abdecha. Ya la 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 la. El Retzonecha. All right. Excuse me, we're going to turn now to page, I think we're going to go with page 8 today. Or Zarua. Light is sown for the righteous. The old Jeff Klepper tune. Or Zarua, Atzadik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Atzadik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Atzadik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Atzadik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Page 9. מזמור שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשה. הושיע לו ימינו וזרוע קודשו. עין הודיע אדוני ישועתו לאלה הגויים. כי לה חסדו ואמונתו בבית ישראל. רק רוח עושי הארץ את ישוע אלוהינו. הריעו אדוני כל הארץ, פצעו ורננו וזמרו. זמרו אדוני בכינור בקול זמרה. בקול שופר הריעו לפני מלך אדוני. ירם היה כולו תבל ויופי בעיני. נרות יפעוך יחד הרים ירדנו מפני אדוני כי בא לשבור את הארץ. ישבור תבל בצדק ועמים במישרים. ניי 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 All right, page 13. Is for the David, Avulad Naibni, Avulad Onai, Kavos, Avulad Onai, Kemochima Vistachavulad Onai, Beandra Koresh, Koandonai, Alamayim, Elakavon, Irin, Adonai. Amayim Rabim Kol Adonai Bakoa Ay Kol Adonai Ve'adar Kol Adonai Shomer Arazim Vayshamer Adonai El Arzei Hamadon Vayarkirem Kemo Egel Lebanon Ve'esirion Hey, ay, ay, nay, 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 ay, nay, 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 ay, nay, 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 ay, nay, 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 Shalom. Do we have, I think we have Ari Goldberg there. Nice to see you, Ari. Are you on your own tonight? Awesome to see you. All right. Okay, Lechadodi, page 15. Trying to see if I can get the chords for the tune I want to use, which I don't usually play a guitar. If I can't, I'll just do it without the guitar. Can't, so no guitar on this one. V'chadodi li karkala pene Shabbat nekavela. V'chadodi li karkala pene Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zafur b'dibor echad ishmiyanu אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ולעילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נעשו הסוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה 17 והיו לשמחה שוסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמסוס חתן I'll call. I meant to start the next one, but I didn't. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin usmol tifroti ve'et Adonai tariti al yari ben parti ve'nismecha. ונגילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה We rise and face the entrance בואי ושלום עטרת מעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה טוב אמונה עם סגולה בואי קלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה And we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom Menachem Betok Shar Zion Yerushalayim, may God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We may be seated, and in honor of Joseph Tolles and Rabbi Brian Fox, Zichrono Livracha. Is that who you're thinking of when we did that?
Of course.
Both of them?
Yes.
19. Mizmor shir leyom hashabat tov lehodot le'adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon lezamer l'shimcha elyon v'hagi b'boker chasdecha ve'emunatcha b'elyon alei asur ve'alei einavel alei gayon ve'chinor mizmor shir le'yom ha'shabbat tov le'odom le'adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. We continue on our own. Tzadik amar yifrach keres balvadon yizkeh shetulim bebeit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu oyenu b'seva nim vera'ananim yehu lehagid ki ashar Adonai suri velo avlatabo Adonai malachio lavesh Adonai asitazar aftikon tevel ba'altimo achom kisachal me'ez v'amata nesuderot Adonai nesuderot kolam yisuderot okyam Yikol mayim rabim adirim Adir V'Maro Adonai Erotecha Nemnu Me'od V'Veitecha Nava Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamin. Please rise briefly for Baruch Hu, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. May be seated. Baruch Adonai Le'Olam Asher Bivaro Mari Varavi. Chavekayam Tamid Yimloch Le'Olam Va'ed Baruch Adonai Hamari Varavi. Page 25. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anuchi metzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlektecha b'derech u'shokbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leon al yadecha v'ayuletotafo b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'shamrecha. Continue silently 27 through 29. L'man tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotziti etchem eretz Mitzrayim leot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet Adonai Elohechem emet. טוב רצון תמנו עליהם, משה בני ישראל חנו שיבה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נקר בקודש, נורת גילו עושה פלא, נורת גילו עושה פלא, מלכותך רחום עליך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כבני יעקב, לא מחזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, עמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, עמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו, לחיים ושלום, מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, ועמיתנו מלכנו. Forsaken Sukkot Shalomech, Baruch Atah Adonai, Praise Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Hakol Mo Yisrael, Yo Yerushalayim. Please rise for Vishamru. Vishamru Bnei Yisrael, Asher Ha'abad, La'asod et Hashalom, Le'torah B'Kol Beni B'Bnei Yisrael, Oti Le'olam, Oti Le'olam, Oti Le'olam. Veshamru Bnei Yisrael, et Hashalom, La'asod et Hashalom, Le'torah B'Kol. Ki sheshet yamim asach Adonai, את השמיים ואת הארץ. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לטובה ובגדולה. וביום העברי שבת וינחש, שבת וינחש, שבת שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לטובה ובגדולה. 35. יפונו יום אחד וחיינו בית ישראל, ובזמן קריב יאמרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי יתברך וישתבח ויברך וירם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה ולעולמים כל ברכתה ושיבתה תושבחה תנחמתה תמירן בימה ויאמרו. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 48. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו. So I've read a couple articles recently about there's an Israeli artist coming who's touring the United States singing Debbie Friedman songs, and that was just the Debbie Friedman Oseh Shalom, including her English songs, which she has translated into Hebrew.
Wow.
So it's quite cool. And apparently it's a friend of Noam Birnbaum's. But anyway, it was in the JTA, .org and everything. So
Is she coming here?
she's not coming here.
Coming to this area?
I don't know. I mean, she actually emailed me through Noam like a year and a half ago about where should she try to come, and
What's her name?
I can't remember her name though. But if you look up Debbie Friedman, Hebrew, Israeli, you'll find it. And I told her to try the Palo Alto JCC, which would be the best place because a lot of cash and a lot of Israelis, so it might be very interesting. And Emmanuel in San Francisco, a lot of Debbie Friedman there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, we're now going to turn to the Matbea Tefillah on page 49. Susan, you up for this tonight? Or? Excellent, thank you. All right.
ויפולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאו ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל אלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון בונה שמיים בארץ מגן אבות בדברו מחיי מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המגיח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד ברב הפחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד בין הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ובורא שביעי ומניח בקדושה ליעמדו שני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית. Make my nose itch. Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ritzeh V'imnuchatenu Kashenu b'mitzvotecha V'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha Sabeinu mitubecha, v'samchenu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu, li'ovdecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'ahava u'ratzon, Shabbat Kodshecha, v'yanuchu v'Yisrael, mikadshei shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh HaShabbat.
Kadish Shalem, page
53. Yidkadal v'yidkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'cheichon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimeru, yehei shmei rabbah v'barach, li'alam li'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitrama v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah, Le'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechemata ta'amiram b'yalma v'imeru. Titkabal tzlot tehon v'tehon d'chol Yisrael, kodama v'hodi v'shmaya v'imeru. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael v'imeru. Osei shalom v'imromav, v'ya'asei shalom. Aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael, v'yalkol yoshvei tevel, v'imeru.
Yes, go on.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the historical moment. And when this letter is obscure of obscure, and then I'll explain why we're doing it anyway. Okay, so it's from Alan Levinson, who was the executive director in the 70s and 80s, more the 80s, I think, of this congregation. You were never here when he was here, were you, Alan Levinson? There's a lot of material from him. He's a very knowledgeable Jew himself, as you'll see from this letter, which he addressed to Mr. Seymour Fromer in August 21st, 1973. So there he is. He's already executive director, but Danzig had just left right before that, I think. And if you don't know who Seymour Fromer is, I'll get to that in a second, too. Does anybody, raise your hand if you know who Seymour Fromer is? I figured you might. Barbara, no? Okay. No, Barbara. Locally, sort of, but anyway. So, dear Seymour, the treatise by Edmund Silberner on the intellectual history of socialism is, in my opinion, a worthwhile addition to any library of Judaica and important enough to be published. The bibliography alone is an addition to the documentation of socialistic anti-Semitism, and the verbiage devoted to French sources themselves impressed me very much. In its present translation, the work makes for very hard reading, and if the object of the printing is mass consumption, either a new translation or a syntactical revision is suggested. Silberner is thorough but wordy. I did not read the entire book, but most of it came under my glance. Glad to be of help. Sincerely, Alan Levinson. Now, I don't know whether Seymour Fromer was the volunteer librarian of the synagogue at that time, and that's what this letter is about, or if he had already been placed in the position of the director of the Magnus Museum in Berkeley. And the Magnus Museum, was very different than what it is today, where it's basically an event space with maybe some archives and there might be an exhibit, but it was more a museum back in the day, and even when I first arrived here in the early 2000s. And Seymour Fromer was actually still the director there. He has since passed on. I mean, a great intellectual and man of literary talent and words. And, in the Bay Area, he was really one of the great Jewish literature experts and Jewish historical experts, and that's why he was in charge of the Magnus Museum. I remember he told me why he quit, but why he quit the congregation had something to do with one of the rabbinical splits that we had. I'm not sure which one. There were a few of them. But in any case, this letter is from him, and rest in peace, Seymour Fromer, rest in peace, Magnus Museum, which actually was a jewel, but is no longer. All right. Please rise for the Kiddush. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'alav ratzon v'chilanu zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava u'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha'shabbat L'chaim to life. All right, if we are near any children, so Josh, you got one, maybe two in this case, or anyone else you feel comfortable blessing, we say Yisimcha Elohim k'Ephraim v'chi Menashe, Yisimech Elohim k'Sar v'Karach Avaleah, Yivarecha Adonai v'Yishmerecha, Yer Adonai v'Navelecha v'Yifuneka, Yisad Adonai v'Navelecha v'Yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. And by way of the air here in osmosis, we're going to bless Ari Goldberg, who's here tonight, and he will start his first year at UC Berkeley in the fall. So many blessings to you. All right, we remain standing for the Aleinu, page 57. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'aleinu l'yotzer b'reishit, shelo atzanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishalim u'olim, Livnei melech malchei hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosef haaretz, u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim imacho, u'shchinat uzo begopei miromim, Hu Eloheinu, Eino, Em Malkeinu, Em Bezulato, Kakatu betorato, v'yadata hayom v'hashivota, el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim ima'al, v'ya'aretz mitachat eino. To Torah Techanaim Loch Le'olam Va'ed V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech Al Kol Haaretz V'yom Hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo We may be seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends as your excited to observe during the coming week. Thinking especially tonight of Elias Elion, Lee Aronson, Ida Nathan Barnett, Lena Bernstein, Sidney Midlowski, Celia Block, Ed Callahan, Jenny Epstein, Anne Frankel, Max Frey, Florence Wilson Glick, Kenneth Gordon, Louis Gottesman, Harry Hankin, Bernice Hanno, Aria Heber, Lidia Kobuchetskaya, Raymond Vogel, Rose Pulse, Irving Reback, Leon Siegel, Helen Singerman, Celia Slavsky, Harry Sussman, Morris Weiss, Jack Wolf, Maurice Aaron Ziegler, Renee Zuckerman. We're in the Shloshim for David Baum, the brother of Amy Tesla, and we're in the Shiva for Regina Rinska Shine, the mother of Marlene Dines, died at 100 years old, and was a Holocaust survivor. Also, Frida Lewin, the mother of Jan Lewin. also the Shiva for today. She was in her, the funeral I believe is today, and she was in her 90s. Also want to recognize the great Israeli writer, Abi Yehoshua, Aleph Bet Yehoshua, novelist as well as essayist. I'm going to read a brief quotation from him before Kaddish. He wrote, "So with truth, there is a certain moment when one can say, this is the truth, and here I put a dot, a stop, and I go to another thing. A judge has to put an end to a deliberation, but for an historian, there's never an end to the past. It can go on and on and on." Mourner's Kaddish, page 61. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad yivrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomecho v'chayechon Beit Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kari v'imru. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach v'olam lo me'om maya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yidromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsha v'rechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Kamiran be'alma v'imru. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom v'imroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam devracha. May the people you've come to say Kaddish for be a blessing to you always. Let us say Amen. All right, a few announcements. Tomorrow's services are at 9:30. I believe Hazanit Yael Krieger will be here, although I didn't actually speak to her this week, so, but I believe that she will be here. Tomorrow, there will be an Ofruf tomorrow for Shana Dines and Ian Wagner. Might be Shana Wagner already, but in any case, it's exciting, which means we will throw candy at them. We don't do it for bar mitzvahs here, but last week somebody did throw a cough drop up here for the soothing life they'll have together, perhaps, whatever it was, and or the soothing life the kid will have. But yeah, tomorrow there will be some candy thrown for Shana and Ian. Pretty excited. And then the next week we have another Ufruf for Noam and Michelle Birnbaum, and so candy thrown that week too, plus Joe and Sheila Millman will be celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Wow.
So probably just throw candy at them too.
Sure, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And otherwise, we have the main things, all week long. We've got Torah study, we've got Minyan. Anything else you think that I need to mention?
Well, Ed coming up, Adult Hebrew.
Adult Hebrew in August.
For the holidays.
Right. Warriors Parade.
Warriors Parade on Monday. Anybody going? You're going. Excellent.
Oh yeah.
I have. I went to one of the ones in Oakland. I went to all three Giants parades. I just don't really want to go early and wait out the crowd, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I did give a whole sermon on the Warriors when they won their first championship. But by the time you get to the fourth, it's
Move on.
this one was very satisfying for fans, but especially for the players, and people really didn't believe in them so much, and it's just an incredible testament to their hard work and teamwork and just everything. Very likable team, at least by us. I understand if you're from another city, apparently they're not as likable. So, in any case, we're going to close with Hatikva in honor of Aleph Bet Yehoshua, page 65. Because it's Israel's national anthem, I ask you to please rise.
What page is that on?
65. And I appreciate the Warriors gear that I see on Amy. I think Barbara has as well, maybe not. Just yeah. Oh, a thank you to Josh Mailman for streaming tonight, and a thank you to assistant streamers, soon to be, apprentice streamers, I guess, and soon to be full on Jacob Zatkin and Eli. Kol Olalei Beniwa Nefesh Yehudi Homiya Urfatei Mitzvah Kadima Ayin Metzion Sophia Olo Agati Matenu Atikva Bajnot Albayim Liyom Gam Chofshim Be'artzenu Eretz Zion Yerushalayim Liyom Gam Chofshim Be'artzenu Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. Shabbat Shalom.
So you think Steph Curry did this? He was saying Shabbat Le'anavet?
Yeah, Shabbat Bein Nafash. He was copying Jonah. Shabbat Bein Nafash.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Le'anavet.
Bein Nafash.
Why? I'm not copying Jonah.
Steph Curry was copying Jonah. What he did during the game.
He did that.
That's Shabbat Le'anavet.
First beyond.